In this video, we're going to show you how to keep your Bitcoin safe using this, the Trezor Model One. This small device, also known as a hardware wallet, gives you the ability to safely take personal custody of your Bitcoin, which means sending it off an exchange like Luno, for example, and into your own wallet for secure long-term storage. Think about a Trezor as being your own personal bank vault for your Bitcoin, where you can easily take full ownership of your Bitcoin and avoid all the many risks of having to trust a middleman with your money. If you're going to buy a meaningful amount of Bitcoin, you absolutely must get one of these. Crypto exchanges are notoriously risky and unreliable, frequently losing their clients' money. There is absolutely no reason to trust someone else with your Bitcoin when you can simply get yourself a Trezor and transfer your Bitcoin into your own wallet. Now, before we get started, we'd like to thank CryptoVault for sponsoring this video. CryptoVault is a leading hardware wallet supplier in South Africa, and they are the only authorized Trezor reseller in the country, which means that if you're in the market for a Trezor, you really shouldn't be buying one from anywhere else. We'll put a link to their store in the description below, so be sure to check them out if you're serious about keeping your Bitcoin safe with a Trezor hardware wallet. Let's get into the video.
So here it is, the Trezor Model One hardware wallet. Now, like we've already mentioned, the function of this device is to give you the ability to take secure custody of your Bitcoin. And it's incredibly important to take personal custody if you're going to buy Bitcoin, especially if you want to store it safely for long-term investment, which we highly recommend. But what the Trezor also does is make it easy for you to interact with your Bitcoin even as a non-technical person. The Trezor has a number of built-in security features which allows you to securely send and receive your Bitcoin. And even if your computer is completely infected with viruses and malware, your Trezor will keep your Bitcoin safe, provided that you follow some general security guidelines and best practices.
So with that said, let's grab our Trezor and start inspecting the packaging. It's really important to do this to ensure the device has not been opened or tampered with somewhere along the delivery process. Now, the box should be completely sealed in plastic, and the packaging itself actually comes with 2 tamper-evident security seals. Make sure that both of these are fully intact and that there are no signs of the box having been damaged or previously opened. If the box has been previously opened, do not use the device and report it to Trezor support team immediately. Okay, so once you're happy with everything, get yourself a sharp knife or blade and let's go ahead and open the box. What you'll notice is that the box is quite difficult to open and you may end up having to actually damage the box to open it. This is by design. Inside the box, you've got your Trezor device, a micro USB cable, some stickers, 2 recovery seed cards, and a getting started guide.
Now, just a word of advice here. For your own safety, you never want to advertise to the world that you own a Trezor. This just paints an unnecessary target on your back, so please do not use the stickers. We suggest leaving them in the box and keeping the box hidden at home somewhere.
Now, if you take a look at the recovery seed cards, you'll see these cards have a space to write down 24 words, which act as your Bitcoin backup should your Trezor ever get lost or damaged. So it's really important to write your recovery seed down, which we'll discuss in more detail a little later. But as you can see, Trezor recommends we create 2 backup copies since they supply 2 backup cards. We'll go through this in more detail shortly.
Okay, so let's move on to setting up the device. The first thing you need to do is download the Trezor Suite software onto your PC. To do that, you want to navigate to the Trezor website, which is trezor.io/start. You'll find the link written at the back of the box or in the Getting Started guide. Please make sure you enter it correctly into your browser. Scammers have been known to set up fake websites with similar website addresses, but the websites are always quickly taken down. Even still, always double check the web address you use for Trezor. Okay, so click on the Download for Desktop button, and once downloaded and installed, the software should prompt you to connect your Trezor device. So go ahead and do that. You should then be presented with a welcome screen, which also prompts you to do a quick security check. Read through the security points and confirm that you are happy.
Now, as you can see, Trezor estimates that it will take about 20 minutes to set up your device. So before proceeding, you want to make sure you have enough time and that you won't be interrupted. We recommend actually allowing for about an hour to be safe. You don't want to rush this. It's also very important that your environment is secure before you start. You want to be in a secure, private location like your home. And you want to ensure that your blinds are all closed so you have absolute privacy. You also want to remove any recording devices from the room, such as cell phones, and be sure to cover up any webcams you have. Remember, you're taking full control of your Bitcoin here, So it's really important to follow all these security and privacy best practices. Okay, so once you're ready, let's go ahead and click the Set Up My Trezor button.
The first step is to install software on the device, also known as firmware. For safety reasons, the device is shipped without firmware pre-installed. Now, since we believe Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency you should concern yourself with, we recommend you install the Bitcoin-only firmware by clicking here. It'll take a few seconds for the firmware to install, and once complete, click Continue. It's now time to create your Bitcoin wallet. Now you'll see that there are actually two options here: create a new wallet or recover an existing wallet. Since this is probably your first time using a Trezor, you are going to select the Create New Wallet option. But let's say that a few years down the line, you end up losing your Trezor device. What you can do is order a brand new Trezor and then select the Recover Wallet option. Selecting this option will prompt you to enter your backup recovery seed, the 24 words we spoke about earlier, because you would have written these words down at the time you initially created your wallet, just like we're about to do right now. So because we don't yet have a wallet or the 24-word backup, let's go ahead and select Create New Wallet. After that, you'll also get a prompt on your Trezor itself. So go ahead and press the Confirm button on your Trezor. Your wallet has now been created. Next, click Continue to Backup.
We're now ready for the most important step of all, creating your wallet backup. Please pay careful attention to the instructions on this screen. You should never use your Trezor without backing it up. For all intents and purposes, your backup is your Bitcoin, and that means you need to keep your backup safe at all times. So take a moment to carefully read the 3 instructions listed here. Again, your recovery seed, also known as your wallet backup, will allow you to recover your Bitcoin wallet if your Trezor is damaged or lost. Importantly, never store your backup seed in digital form. This means never taking a photo of it and never typing it into a computer keyboard. You could have malicious software installed on your PC which logs your keystrokes, and if you ever typed your backup seed into your computer, for example, it could be exposed to an attacker. But don't worry, this is why we have the Trezor Device, to protect our wallet from any potential threats. Lastly, you always need to store your backup seed securely, and this means creating at least 2 backup copies stored in different secure locations where only you have access. Okay, so let's go ahead and tick all 3 boxes and click the Create Wallet Backup button. The Trezor will now generate a list of 24 words, which you're going to write down in the recovery seed cards provided. You'll see the first word immediately displayed on your Trezor device. So begin by writing this down in your recovery seed card, and then once done, click Next on the Trezor to show the second word. Repeat this process until you've written all 24 words down. It's really important that you write the words down in order, and note that every word is lowercase.
To be clear, these 24 words are your wallet backup. We use the terms seed phrase, recovery seed, or wallet backup interchangeably. It's the same thing. And here's a quick safety tip for you. When you write down your seed words, be sure to press on a hard surface. You don't want to risk accidentally leaving an indent on a magazine or book cover, potentially exposing your seed words to everyone. Remember, your recovery seed must be kept private and offline at all times.
Now, if you're following along with this video, you'll want to pause it here until you've completed writing all 24 words down. Once you're done, your Trezor will prompt you to repeat the process to verify that you've written the words down correctly. Check each and every word you've written down against the word displaying on the Trezor device. Click Next after each word, and once you've checked all 24 words, Trezor Suite will indicate that your wallet backup is complete.
Now before moving on, you want to make a second copy of your 24 words. Simply duplicate the words you wrote in your first backup card into the second card and carefully check it after to verify it's a perfect copy. Once you're done, fold each backup card to conceal the words. You then want to place each backup card in an airtight, watertight Ziploc bag to protect them from potential damage. And if you want to add an extra layer of security to your recovery seeds, we recommend placing each backup in a tamper-evident bag. These bags are impossible to open without breaking, so as long as they remain sealed, they give you peace of mind that no one has found and tampered with them. Your next priority is to secure each of these backups in a different location, so that if one location ever burns down or is compromised in some other way, that your backup location will not be affected. But remember that you must maintain control over your backups, so be sure to pick a location that only you can access, like a small hidden safe that you hold the keys to, for example. Another very secure storage option you have is a safety deposit box with a private vault company. If this is something that you'd be interested in, reach out to us via email and we'll hook you up with a discount on your first annual installment.
The next step is to set up a PIN to protect your Trezor from any physical unauthorized access. So let's click Continue to PIN now. We're advised to set up a strong PIN, something around 8 characters. You could use a longer PIN, but we'd recommend not using less than 8 characters. Note, however, that you can't use the number 0 as part of your PIN, so you'll need to choose a PIN from the numbers 1 to 9 only. Okay, so let's go ahead and click Set PIN, and then press Confirm on your Trezor to start the process. Now, Trezor has a clever method of hiding and protecting your PIN from prying eyes. You'll see a 3x3 keypad on your computer screen and a shuffled set of numbers on your Trezor device. To enter your chosen PIN, simply use your mouse to click the corresponding digit in the 3x3 keypad to match the position of the number on the Trezor. Once you've entered your new PIN, you'll be prompted to repeat it, but pay careful attention to the location of the numbers because they will shuffle and change position the second time you enter it. Click Enter PIN and your PIN will be set.
Now, if you're worried about forgetting your PIN, we suggest writing it down. But it's very important that you never store your Trezor and your written PIN in the same location. Keep them well hidden and well separated. Bear in mind, however, that if you ever forget or lose your PIN, you would need to do a factory reset on your Trezor, wiping it completely. And then you need to go through the full setup from scratch, but this time using your recovery seed backup to restore your existing wallet you created. And just to clarify, your Bitcoin would still be perfectly safe even if you lost your PIN and had to factory reset your Trezor, because again, you have written down your recovery seed words. But to save yourself a lot of effort and some potential anxiety, don't risk forgetting your PIN. Definitely try to memorize it, but also keep a written copy somewhere.
Okay, so now that the PIN has been set, let's click Continue. Click on the Bitcoin selection and then Complete Setup. And that's it, you've successfully set up your Trezor wallet. So at this stage, you should have 2 handwritten copies of your 24-word backups, which must be kept securely at all times and in 2 separate locations. You should also have a PIN code written down, which you'll store in a location separate from your Trezor. Now, before moving on, let's quickly give our Trezor a name. So click Edit Name and fill in your desired device name. And then go ahead and click Access Suite.
And here it is, your new wallet dashboard. Now on the left-hand side, under the Account section, you should see an empty account called Bitcoin One. If you click this, you'll see a more detailed view of the account. A nice feature is that you can easily create multiple different accounts if you want to separate and organize your funds. But for now, we're just going to operate using the default Bitcoin One account.
Now, if you click on the My Trezor icon on the top left, you'll notice that you're using something called a standard wallet. But the option exists to create a passphrase wallet. A passphrase wallet, also known as a hidden wallet, allows you to add an additional layer of security to your Bitcoin wallet. You can think of it like adding an extra password to unlock your wallet. Now, for this tutorial, we're only discussing the standard wallet, but if you're interested in learning more about how exactly the passphrase wallet works, you can check out the article on Trezor's Learn portal. We'll put a link to it down below. Just note that we recommend doing your homework before attempting to use the passphrase wallet feature. Right now, however, we're just going to continue with the default standard wallet.
Okay, so now that our wallet is ready, the next logical step is to actually take personal custody and receive some Bitcoin into our new wallet. But before sending a meaningful amount of Bitcoin, however, make sure that your backups are securely stored in their relevant locations. Now, to demonstrate what this process actually looks like, we've gone ahead and bought some Bitcoin on the Luno exchange. The Bitcoin is sitting in our Luno wallet, but our goal obviously is to take personal custody of our Bitcoin rather than put blind trust in the exchange to keep the funds safe. That's the entire point of the Trezor after all, to cut out the middleman and take custody of our own money. So let's get the Bitcoin off the exchange and safely into our own hands. The process is really quite simple. First, click on Receive BTC in Trezor Suite and then click Show Full Address. Your Trezor will generate a unique receive address for you to send Bitcoin to. You will then be asked to check and confirm the address on your Trezor.
Here's an important safety tip. You should always trust your Trezor device before you trust what you see on your computer. Your Trezor is the authority, and any information you see on your computer screen should always be checked and verified by looking at your Trezor screen. Now, what you want to do is check and compare the address shown on your computer with the address displayed on your Trezor. But if the addresses are ever different, it'll mean that your computer is infected with malware and you should obviously not trust it. You can, however, always trust your Trezor device, so the address you see on the Trezor is the one you want to use. Now, to make things simpler for yourself, you can display the address as a QR code. Simply press the QR button on your Trezor and the QR to that address will be displayed on the Trezor and on the computer. Next, open the Luno app on your cell phone. From the Wallet tab, we're going to hit the Send button. You'll then be prompted to enter the receive address you just generated using your Trezor. But we've also got the option to simply click the little QR code icon at the bottom to open your phone's QR scanner. So let's go ahead and use the phone to scan the QR code displaying on the Trezor device. Now, it's very important to scan the QR code displaying on the Trezor device, not the one showing on Trezor Suite on your computer. Because again, we always trust the Trezor device more than we trust our PC. Next, enter the amount you want to send. Note that you can either use Bitcoin or South African Rands under the currency option. Once you've entered the amount, click the Next button. Read and accept the warning message by ticking the checkbox and clicking Send anyway. Next, you want to double check that you're sending your Bitcoin to the right address. So we need to verify this by comparing the address shown in Luno to the address showing on your Trezor device. What you'll note is that Luno only shows you the first 6 and last 6 digits. So to see the address on your Trezor again, simply hit the left button on the device. You can cycle between the QR code and address formats as many times as you like. Once you've confirmed the address is correct, check that you're happy with the quoted send fee, and then tap Confirm on Luno. All that's left is to enter your PIN, after which Luno will prompt you to confirm the transaction via email, SMS, or push notification. And that's it. Your Bitcoin is now on its way from Luno to your new Trezor wallet.
Now here's another quick tip regarding the send fee we mentioned a moment ago. Sending Bitcoin to and from your new wallet will cost a small fee. This fee can fluctuate from day to day based on certain factors such as how many people are trying to send Bitcoin at the same time. So if the fee Luno quotes you is quite high, you can try waiting a few hours or even a day or two. Although not guaranteed, often the fee will come down.
Now, a few seconds after you've initiated the send transaction, you should see the transaction pop up in your transaction panel in your Trezor Suite. Note, however, that the transaction status will initially appear as unconfirmed or pending. Depending on how busy the Bitcoin network is, it will usually take a few minutes for the first confirmation to take place. Now, without going into too much detail, a good rule of thumb is that you usually want 3 confirmations before you consider your transaction to be finalized. A confirmation generally takes about 10 minutes, so 3 transactions should take in the region of about 30 minutes. Don't worry too much about this for now, but feel free to research it if you want to understand exactly how this works from a technical perspective. Usually, however, if you see your Bitcoin transaction pop up as pending after you've sent it from Luno, you know your transaction's on the way and that your funds are safe.
Now, one final tip for you is to consider doing a small test transaction into your new wallet before sending the bulk of your funds. By sending a small amount, this allows you to get comfortable with the send process without fear of moving around a large amount of money. After you've successfully sent a small test transaction to your new wallet and you feel comfortable with the process, you can send the rest of your Bitcoin over.
Okay, so that's how you take personal custody of your Bitcoin, getting it from Luno into your personal Trezor wallet. But what if you want to send some of the Bitcoin from your Trezor wallet back to Luno? Well, again, it's a pretty simple process, and it's basically just the opposite of what we just did. Instead of getting an address from our Trezor wallet, this time we need to get an address from the place we want to send our Bitcoin to. In this example, we're sending our Bitcoin back to Luno. But first, start the process off by clicking the Send button in Trezor Suite, after which you'll see the Send Transaction menu. Now you can see that we're being asked to enter an address to send the Bitcoin to. So to get the address, you're going to go back into the Luno app on your phone, select the Wallet tab, and then click on the Receive button. You're then going to select Create Receive Address, and thereafter select Bitcoin. Next, give your address a name. We're just going to type Trezor, and then hit Create. Read the disclaimer that pops up, and then select View Address.
We've now got 2 options. Either we can scan the QR code, or we can select the copy icon to copy the receive address. If your computer has a webcam, you can allow Trezor Suite access to scan the QR code on your Luno app. If you don't have a webcam, you'll need to send the copied code from your phone to your computer and then copy and paste it into the address box in Trezor Suite. Now, one way to send the address to your computer is to open your phone email app, copy and paste the address from Luno there and send the email to yourself. Then simply log into your email account from your computer and copy the address from there.
Another safety tip. Never try to type a receive address manually. The risk of you making a mistake is just too high. If you can't scan a QR code because you don't have a webcam, always copy and paste the Bitcoin address, and always double check you've copied it correctly.
Okay, so after you've entered the address into the Trezor suite, you'll need to enter the amount you want to send. You can then select the fee amount you want to pay. Note that unlike when you send from Luno, Trezor Suite allows you to manually set your fee priority when you do a send transaction. A higher fee setting usually results in faster transaction times, but if you're not in a rush, you can set the fee to economy or low to save a little bit. Next, click the Review and Send button. You will now need to confirm the transaction on your Trezor device. Carefully check the amount of the transaction and the address you just entered.
Again, it's very important to verify the address you're sending to by double checking it, character by character on the Trezor itself. It should obviously exactly match the address you copied from the Luno wallet. Once you're happy, hit confirm on the Trezor. It'll then show you the total amount of the transaction along with the fee payable. Check it one last time and use the device to confirm the transaction details. Finally, hit send on Trezor Suite. Your Bitcoin is now on its way back to Luno. It should take a few minutes to arrive in your Luno wallet depending on the fee priority you set.
Now, just a final piece of advice here whilst we're on the topic of sending your Bitcoin back to Luno. We strongly recommend that you don't sell your Bitcoin. Instead, it's best to think long term and keep buying whatever you can afford each month, like you do with your pension fund. Because 10 years out, Bitcoin is almost certainly going to be worth much, much more than it is right now. Just look at its 10-year history. It's been the best performing asset by far over the past decade. And if history is anything to go by, you're going to want to accumulate as much as you can whilst it's still as cheap as it is today.
Not only that, but when you send your Bitcoin back to Luno and sell it, you will initiate a taxable event. In other words, you'll be liable to pay tax to SARS on any profits you make. And other than the admin headache, this means you're going to lose a significant percentage of any profits to tax. So you may then be wondering, if you don't sell your Bitcoin, how do you benefit from it in the years to come? Well, Bitcoin is well on its way to becoming a globally accepted reserve currency, which means that you'll be able to send it and spend it freely with no tax implications. You can in fact already spend Bitcoin completely tax-free in El Salvador, where it's been made legal tender, and a few other countries are not far behind. So for now, the name of the game is to accumulate as much Bitcoin as you can. Buying Bitcoin regularly every week or every month is the best way to do it. Take self-custody with your Trezor and continue accumulating Bitcoin for the next 10 years. Your future self will thank you.